Welcome back, HMR community. I'm Anneke, and I'm here with Coach Jen, and we are so excited to be back with you guys again for another mini support session and to provide you guys with some more updates this evening. Welcome.
Welcome. Hi, everyone. Make sure as you join that you are commenting, letting us know that you're joining and where you're joining from. We always love to see kind of how far across the United States we are kind of going. And let's start with sharing some updates. We know many of you are wondering when the HMR program, auto delivery, and coaching will be back up for everyone to join. So just to update you on where things are right now, we just finished our first wave of opening up coaching to previous members to get them back into their coaching groups. As you all know, by now our team is smaller, so we are working on figuring out how many coaching groups we will have available, and we'll continue to update you as soon as we are able to open up fully and enroll more people into coaching. So thanks for hanging in there with us, and we'll share updates every week as we have them.
Yeah, and on next week's Facebook Live event, we will be sharing more about the history of HMR with a focus on where it all began, which is the in-clinic programs during this transition time over the past couple months. Many of our HMR clinic programs have not skipped a beat. They have dedicated staff that have continued to induct and work with members to kick off the new year, continue working towards their goals. And if you were someone that was impacted by, your local clinic closing, we want to help you. So please just stay tuned for updates regarding the virtual class options through our at-home program.
Yes, so many folks joining, Anneke. We have Gwen and Aaron and Bob, Marcia. So thanks for joining us live. Eloise, Toby. So really excited to have you guys joining us on these Thursday night events. And so if you didn't hear last week on Facebook, our Amazon storefront is back up and running. We are still working to have most products available again, but currently we have 4 variety of entrees, 5 flavors of our bars, 120 shakes, and the HMR cereal available to purchase on Amazon. More will be arriving weekly, but please be patient as we work to get our full inventory back up on Amazon. And in the meantime, we do still have food available to purchase on the HMR program website. You'll go to Express Shop and just put things in your cart and you can check out from our Express Shop. If you have a local HMR clinic near you, you can also check in with them. Make sure to call ahead because their hours may be a little bit different, but that way you can get products right there, maybe within proximity.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And especially the newest edition of the 120 shakes to the Amazon shop. That's definitely helpful. So let's dive into tonight's support session. No matter the time of year, life really seems to always be busy. And trying to keep up a healthy routine when you have a lot on your plate can be very difficult. In the midst of a busy day or week, really the last thing we want to be thinking about is what we're going to have to prepare for lunch or dinner. If you haven't already made these plans in advance, it's much more challenging to make a healthy choice versus the convenient choice. So tonight, we really want to share our top strategies to stay prepared and also some recipes to help you throw together some quick, easy, and filling meals for when your schedule is getting busy.
Right. Which it never seems to fail. It's always busy. I think a lot of folks are like, well, I'll wait till this is over.
Yeah.
It's over, but then we have a new different type of busy. So also, if you're joining us live, Sharon is in the chat. She's going to be attaching some links with some recipes that we talk about. And so make sure to check out the comments and also comment with us along the way because I'm checking here and there periodically. So make sure to continue as we go through with our support strategies and recipes you also want to share. So the first thing that you're going to want to do that will help you when you have a busy schedule is to start with a list. Start making a list, and alongside that, have your grocery list going. The HMR recipe book that you get is a great resource. Also, our HMR program website is fantastic, especially if you're in phase 1 or phase 2, to help to give you some different ideas for recipes as well as suggestions for combinations. I typically start with, making a list of 3 to 4 meals for the week. And then, of course, make your grocery list. You want to make sure you have all the spices, all the add-ins that you'll need to make that recipe. And one thing that makes it really easy are the entrees and the shakes and the cereal to create these recipes. So a lot of you already have that on hand so that you can make some of those meals pretty quick and easy. Also, making batches of a meal can not only help you to save time, but throughout the week, but it helps you to stay on track. You don't want it to go to waste. So soups, baked casseroles, or mixing things on the stovetop are all great strategies to help support you once you have your list. It's going to save you money and time at the grocery store if you stick to that grocery list. You're not going to be wandering through the aisles looking at the end caps and putting things in your cart. You'll stick with that list. So sometimes that's a goal to have, is to make the grocery list and stick with that list. But I know one thing that we were talking about, Anneke, when we were kind of prepping for this event, is not only to get the meals that you want to have, 3 or 4, you're always going to have a leftover day. But for me, for my family, I do this all the time for them, especially for dinner, because lunch and my snacks and things are pretty regimented. But dinner can be where the wheels could fall off if I don't have a plan. So I write down the meals, the 3 or 4 meals, and have the grocery list. But I have found for myself in the past, they could just sit there. And then I forget, oh yeah, I bought this for that meal. So I'll take it and put it on the calendar of when I want to have what meals, especially for dinner. So if you're prepping for a family, that could be something that could help you so that you have a plan and you're not thinking about driving through the drive-through real quick because there isn't something planned for dinner, or getting takeout. And that way you tend to use everything as well. So there's not a lot of waste. So those are some tips that I use after I make a list, as I put it on a calendar as well.
Absolutely. That's a great strategy. Just to really stay planned, and especially if you're trying really hard to stay on track or get back on track, knowing exactly what you're going to have each day is so beneficial, and just kind of keeping your focus, I think.
Absolutely.
So we want you to share in the comments. We're going to talk some of our favorite batch meal to cook. Whether you're cooking for a family, yourself, just cooking, for 2, 3, 4 servings in advance to have ready. We're thinking phase 1, phase 2, no matter what phase you're in, we want to hear some of your favorite batch meals that you cook. And while you guys are sharing in the comments, Jen and I are going to discuss some of our favorites. So Jen, why don't you start us off? What are some of your favorite batch meals?
Yeah, it's kind of funny that we have similar meals that we like to prepare. So my absolute favorite, which you can find it on our website, and this does include an entree. So the first one is Healthy Solutions Appropriate. It is our fajita bowl, and it's made with the barbecue chicken. And so that is one of my favorites. So anytime I make it, I double or triple the recipe because I already have all of the vegetables, the add-ins that I want to make. And so I do make a big batch of that. That's probably, especially that's my favorite batch with an entree. And for phase 1, decision-free appropriate, another one of my favorites is our stroganoff risotto. And it's just the mushroom risotto mixed with the stroganoff. Y'all, that's a recipe. We're not talking about elaborate, there's two ingredients, beef stroganoff and the mushroom risotto, and you simply just mix them together. And so you could do 4 of them at a time to get, more, spread it out, or just 2 and have 2 meals made out of it. And it's absolutely delicious. And Did you want to share some of your favorite phase one first before I talk about phase two?
Sure. Yeah. One of my favorite phase one batch recipes that I like to make is actually in the recipe book and on the website. Sharon's gonna share it in the chat. It's the barbecue sweet and sour chicken recipe, which is basically a barbecue chicken entree. Well, I would do, maybe 2 or 3. Dice up the chicken, mix it with some diced pineapple, peppers, onions, all cooked together on the stove. I personally like to add some red chili flakes for a little bit of spice as well. And I typically use frozen mixed peppers too. So, when we're talking about these recipes, it doesn't have to be this time-intensive, involved recipe. It's frozen mixed peppers, fresh or canned pineapple, depending on the season. And it's really great, either as is or with some lettuce wraps for a fun lunch. I've actually even put it over a bed of lettuce for a salad before. So it's just a really good kind of versatile meal that I really enjoy to have in multiple servings.
Yeah, you made that point of the frozen vegetables because when you're busy, no one has time to cut and clean the peppers and onions. And so for the fajita bowl, I just use the frozen mixed. I think it's like a three vegetable blend or something in of peppers and onions. Super easy, super quick. It really helps you make the batch. And if you have a prep day, it does help. So gosh, there's also others that I like, but those are my favorites. So for phase two, it was funny. We both like cauliflower rice quite a bit. So there is a mock, I've shared it in past events, but it's been many moons ago. And it is the cauliflower rice medley from Green Giant that has green onions, peas, carrots. And so I use the recipe on the back for basically it's a fried rice recipe, but it's all vegetables. You're just adding in the different flavors, low calorie, low sodium add-ins. You can add the egg or not add the egg, especially if this is for phase two. But then I also love the frozen ahi tuna steaks. And so if you're in phase two, having those things kind of in the frozen section or in your freezer can be really helpful. And just kind of saute them on the stovetop with different seasonings and putting that on top. And it's so delicious and so quick and easy to have. And you can put any kind of lean protein on to the cauliflower rice. So I think cauliflower rice has been a real big staple for so many of us.
Yeah, great. Yeah, similarly, we were talking beforehand, and any members that are joining us that have been in a phase two group with me, that I kind of talk about this cauliflower rice blend a lot because I really enjoy it. But Trader Joe's has this kind of Asian inspired frozen cauliflower rice stir fry. It's about 4.5 cups. And so what I'll do is I can put 2 bags on the stove in a pan, and it's so versatile in that I can add shrimp to it, frozen shrimp or tofu or scrambled eggs. And it's just, really like a 20, 15 maybe minute prep. You can have 3 or 4 of these meals, heavy vegetables, good portion lean protein, and just ready in the fridge for quick lunch, quick dinner. So, that's another one of my go-to kind of batch meals that I like as well. So, I just want to reiterate here too, we talk about recipes. We really, again, doesn't need to be involved. The prep work doesn't need to be spending, an hour, 2 hours in the kitchen. Sometimes it's as simple as just making more of a quick meal and having that.
What you're already doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And just to have the leftovers, Erin mentioned, so the turkey chili is a great one to make a batch recipe. I know you were speaking about that and just kind of bulking it up, adding more vegetables in there, peppers and onions. And Erin mentioned that one of her clients won a chili cook-off with our HMR entrees to add the turkey chili. So that's so fun. I mean, if it's going to win. And lots of you are sharing some different strategies. There's a fiesta chicken recipe with black beans and corn from Sandy. and mixed bag veggies. Yeah, anything that you can do to help yourself out with a busy schedule with the frozen vegetables that are already cut and prepped and ready to go, make it easy on yourself. It's already stressful enough these days with our busy schedules, and trying to make it even harder to take time to prep. And it's difficult.
Yeah.
And
Definitely. Great. Well, keep sharing your examples of batch recipes there. I love the turkey chili one, especially because that's something you could share with other people and they wouldn't even know that they're, how healthy they're eating. So we'll shift in, and the next kind of one of the other more important things that you can do, as you guys know, this is not going to be a surprise to anyone, is to make sure that you do spend some time prepping. A little time spent up front can really make an impact over the following few days. So, we're on the same page that we want to start with the foods that are going to take the longest to cook. For instance, roasted veggies. I know we all love a good sheet pan veggie prep, and it can be in the oven while you're prepping other things as well, but it really makes grabbing veggies so easy throughout the week if you just have that prepared at once. And one of my favorite things to do is roast sheet pans of diced sweet potatoes or russet potatoes at the beginning of the week, pretty small pieces. And that way I can throw a cup in the air fryer for about 5 minutes, and it really satisfies those crunchy, salty, savory cravings that we can all get, especially in the evening. So, that's only the minute it takes the air fryer to heat up and the 5 minutes it's in there. It's just a great way to stay prepared for me. And of course, it's also important to prep your fruits and veggies by, simply just washing and chopping them when you bring them home from the store so that they're ready to go for you when you need them as well.
it's so nice. You're much more likely to eat them, because I think we have all been guilty of having the vegetables rotting in the fridge because they weren't cut and prepped and ready to go, or the melon that rotted on the counter because it wasn't cut, but if you prepped it you would have ate it. And so when you're thinking about phase 2, as you're prepping for the week, thinking about your grains and your proteins, can you use the crock pot to do a lot of maybe salsa chicken? That's a great recipe to do and super easy. It's basically just salsa over chicken. You put that in the crock pot and you can use it in so many different ways. You can shred it up for over a salad, just so many different things that you can do, and having that ready to go and just putting it in the fridge. Your grains, you can do your quinoa, you can mix your cauliflower rice or your zoodles with some of the vegetables that you mix up so that you can have it already ready and to go. And also, when you're thinking about a lean protein that you can get in the frozen section, there's so many. If you prepare, if it's a pound of salmon or some other pound of fish, you can cut it into 4 portions. And once it's baked, or to bake it, and then it's ready to heat up in the air fryer if you want that crispy kind of out layer. So lots of little tricks that you can do when you have a busy schedule. But prepping, taking that little time up front, like Anneke mentioned, is going to really help you to stay on track and make that healthy choice versus going to the app and getting DoorDash or going through the drive-through. So making it as easy as possible on yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so make sure you're continuing to share, some of the ways that you prep ahead of time. What do you do to really help support you to stay on track? If it's different, put it in the comments, because we're all here to support each other. And I don't know anyone these days that doesn't have a busy schedule or a lot on their plate, so we can all pull from it.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is also a lot about setting up our future self for success, right? The prepping, just having everything ready in the fridge. So another thing that can make that you definitely want to do is just make it really easy to grab and go. Whether you work outside of the home or, you just might be pulled away. You want to have things available that you can just grab. So something that I like to do as a good grab and go strategy is to make pudding and fruit cups with the 70 plus pudding that you can just grab from the fridge. And this can be really helpful as well to just have something, a sweet treat at night, maybe when you're having some cravings or whenever those pop up, you have it ready for you in the fridge. So it's as simple as, again, kind of going back to the batch situation, putting 3, 4, 70 plus puddings in a bowl, preparing it, portioning it into containers, topping it with fruit. You can even add frozen fruit, doesn't have to be fresh. Put it in there, it'll thaw in the fridge, and then it's there when you need it, whenever you need it to just kind of grab and go. Another one that I really like is overnight oats with our multigrain cereal. And what I have been doing lately is I'll make the cereal as is, microwave it, put the things in it that I like to add in, like the sugar-free maple syrup, a little spray butter, maybe a little vanilla extract. And then once it's prepared in the container, I could put, again, a cup of frozen fruit on top. And then when we need them the next morning or a couple mornings, it's ready in the fridge. You can eat it cold. You could warm it up if you want, but I like it cold. So yeah, another way to just really make it easy, whether you're going to work or you just need something quick from the fridge that's going to keep you kind of on track with those HMR foods and fruits.
Yeah. When I used to work in the clinic, I love putting the cereal in the overnight oats in like a mason jar or in like a solo, so I could just grab them and then I could eat them at lights, but it could stay in kind of the cup holder in the car. And that way you don't have to worry about, oh, I have this bowl and I'm trying to eat it and then it gets all over the place. You can put it in something that fits in your cup holder so that you can, at stoplights, because we're not going to eat while we're driving, but helping you with the busy schedule in that way. So I think definitely see lots of things in people sharing. So keep it going for how you make it easy to grab and go. And since you've already kind of done some of the prep work, the nice thing is to make it even easier as kind of a grab and go. And I've seen some of this on Facebook. Several of you have been freezing grapes and putting them in little Ziploc baggies, or you've done your prep work and you've cleaned and prepped your veggies and your fruit. Put it in like one single serving bags or in little Tupperware containers so that when you are running out the door, you can grab it. Because the last thing, I've been in this situation, you are going to run out the door and you're like, oh, I would really like some X, Y, or Z. But then you have to get it out of the Tupperware and then put it in a bow. And you're like, I don't have time for that. So just go ahead and help yourself out. Put it out, put maybe 3 or 4 so that you can grab them very easily as you go out the door. And another thing that I think we forgot to mention this in the prep, but it makes it easy to grab and go. If you're just getting started and you're feeling overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to prep and do all this stuff? I tell folks to go ahead and buy a party tray. Like, buy a party tray of the fruits and veggies, and then when you get it home, all you have to do is put it in Tupperwares, and then it's easy to grab and go. Or in the refrigerated section in the produce, they have all kinds of vegetables and fruits already cut and prepped and ready to go. It is a little bit more pricey, but if you are feeling overwhelmed and you just need to get started or super busy, that may be the time that you treat yourself to those things that are already cut and prepped to make it easier to grab and go.
Yeah, absolutely. I really love my jicama stick from Trader Joe's or Sprouts, and it comes in 2-cup servings basically, and that's a really good car snack. It's easy to have at home, already cut up. That's one of those things that's more of a convenience, so I don't have to prep it, that I really like to have. So yeah, having some of those things can really be a great time saver.
Right. And when you're thinking about phase 2, I know coaches and clients probably all have their staple grab and go kind of phase 2 things for lean proteins. I go ahead and get hard-boiled eggs already kind of done. Or you could make a batch of the hard-boiled eggs and keep them in the refrigerator so that you can just kind of grab and go. The tuna pouches that are flavored in the little pouches, those are really nice and I just grab a spoon and I can eat it in carpool line. So those things also keep in mind, could be grab and go outside of the fruits and the veggies. You could even do like the cereal, you know, lots of things that you can do to grab and go.
Great. Let's see here. We had a couple other things, and this has come up for me a couple times in groups. It's like, I apologize, my eye is watering. I promise I'm not crying. The frozen blended shakes are another really good tool for grab and go. You know, making the shake the day in advance, putting it in your blender, putting it in your freezer, I'm sorry, and just letting that defrost over the course of the day. You know, that's another really good strategy for some prep work in advance that you can just grab. Sometimes it's, you know, just as simple as that, you know, maybe don't have the extra few minutes to put that together, but you have it already in the freezer. So share your favorite grab and go strategies in the comments if you haven't already. Do you see anything in the comments there, Jen? Any strategies?
Yeah. A lot of folks are loving the jicama, good replacement for something salty and crunchy. And I think Deb is mentioning, I think she's referencing the jicama, her favorite snack recently. Yes, so Kate is talking about purchasing many of those bag salads to kind of have that convenience. That is one that I use often that I forgot about. So lots of folks, so if you are watching this live or after the fact, make sure you're checking out the comments, because not only are some of the recipes that we've mentioned in there, but other recipes and strategies that our Facebook community, our HMR community use are going to be in the comments. So make sure to check those out if you're not already doing so. And so as we're kind of wrapping up, we know our schedules are super busy. That is not going to change. We also have things we want to accomplish, goals around our weight and our health. That's probably not going to change either. So we have to figure out how to manage both and still accomplish what we want to accomplish. So in the comments, I want you to share something that you heard tonight that you're going to bring into your plans for this week, because I guarantee you're busy. So what is something that you're going to do that you heard tonight, or maybe it reminded you of something that you've done in the past that you're like, oh yeah, I used to do that, but I haven't done that in forever. Comment what you've heard, what you're going to do, and bring it into your plans this week to help support you to stay on track with your goals, even though you're busy.
Yeah, so we want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. We hope this was a helpful event for you. You know, achieving your goals, whatever they may be, is so much easier when you can throw together those quick and easy meals that are going to help keep you full. So just want to consider what's going to be most supportive for you in this week ahead. And next week, we'll be sharing again, you know, kind of the history of our HMR clinic, what the difference is between in-person and at-home programs, and how you can find a clinic near you. So again, if you're unable to join live, you can always find the recording under the videos on the HMR program Facebook page or at the top of the Facebook community pages. And of course, always a reminder that you want to make sure to stay close to your inbox for our latest updates. So we will see you guys next week. We hope you have a great night and appreciate you guys being here with us. Thank you, guys.